Hello, my name is Devon Tao, and I'm the playwright-composer of Reason to Be, and I thought I'd start a new series called Behind the Song, where I play a song for you, and then I tell you sort of my thought process behind how I wrote the music and lyrics. So first up is our opening song, Reason to Be, sung by our protagonist, Val. So these driving eighth notes that you hear throughout the piece are kind of like a ticking time bomb, which is supposed to represent how Val feels about the ticking time bomb that is the Earth getting destroyed due to climate change. December 25th, 2050, how many days of life on Earth remain? Instead of seeing snow like in Christmases ago, now my morning's full of smog and acid rain. I'm sweating even though it's December, I'm getting a bit dizzy on my feet. I have an AC, but its electricity is ultimately causing all this heat. So you can hear there's this sort of descending chromatic thing going on with the melody, and then you see it's mirrored pretty strongly in the bass line. And what that represents is that at the start of the play, Val is sort of undergoing this downward spiral. The air is getting so thick I can taste it. The smell's reminiscent of death. Pollution it could be, or perhaps anxiety. Either way, I'm always out of breath. Out my window I can see people outside, wearing warm weather Christmas apparel. I'll be in good cheer just as long as I don't hear another fucking Christmas. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. So traditionally, Deck the Halls is this very cheerful song, but here we have this very cheerful song that the carolers are singing contrast to the very dark bass line beneath, which I think contrasts really well the personality differences and then mindset differences between the carolers and Val. Go away. So I didn't show this part, but after Val says go away, there's some dialogue where Val says, "Why would I want to hear White Christmas when I haven't seen a snowflake in 10 years? So then in the piano part, we do a fun little quote of White Christmas. The glaciers have been slowly disappearing. The sea levels are at an all-time high. I'm trying not to care, but I'm painfully aware that no matter what, we all are gonna die." So far I've only talked about the music, but I wanted to say a little bit about the rhyme scheme here. So we have an A, B, C, C, B pattern, and the reason why this is having the two C rhymes in between the B rhymes adds this feeling of sort of delayed gratification from hearing the last B rhyme close out the earlier line, and then also the two C's in the middle match the pacing of the music. So I think this is a good example of how the music and the lyrics support each other in the song. Outside there's nothing but disaster, inside there's nothing but despair. Months waiting in my room and contemplating doom. Nice internal rhyme there. And wanting something that just isn't there. This line, wanting something that just isn't there, is the crux of the song, because Val wants to love music again, but the love just isn't there for them anymore. A lot just happened here. So we had a time signature change from 4/4 to 3/4. We had a tempo change, it became a lot slower. And then we also sort of have a fake out key change where you think it's going from C major to A minor, but then we'll find out that the A minor was sort of a fake out and it actually goes back to C major. But basically all these things are there to accomplish a shifting of the tone. So whereas the beginning was more anxious, and it was more sort of a patter type song, now we get into a melancholic ballad. Once I dreamed I would play in the spotlight, nothing but music in deep night, nothing but me and the keys. There are two things I wanted to point out here. Musically, we can hear that this section, in comparison to the previous section, has one, longer note durations in the melody, and then also the melody is more flowing and sort of goes further, both of which adds for a more dramatic feel. And then lyrically, I wanted to comment on the line, "Nothing but me and the keys," because when I was trying to capture the essence of the feeling that I feel when I'm playing music, it really is just that, very pure and simple in that moment, completely focused on you and the instrument.
Nothing but me and the keys.
So that little transition has a practical purpose, which is that by the end of my sequence, I find myself in the key of B flat major and I need to get back to C major. So we have B flat to E flat to F, which is 1 to 4 to 5 in B flat, but then the F also happens to be the 4 of C major, so it acts as a pivot chord there.
One side, sit there for hours just playing, hear what the music was saying. Nothing could take me away. Nothing could take me away. Clair de lune, acid rain, Liebestraum, hurricane, List can't keep fires at bay.
Here, Val alternates between saying a name of a classical music piece and a name of a climate change impact, indicating how they feel that music is sort of powerless against this existential threat. And musically, what's going on is that the melodic line is ascending and it's growing in volume. There's a crescendo, which means that this feeling that Val has inside is growing larger.
Turkish march, CO2, release algae bloom. What use is music today?
So this question, what use is music today, is at the very heart of this show, and it's a question that I care a lot about answering, or at least exploring what this means for myself, especially now when, we live in very scary, uncertain times, and the arts are under attack.
Now I ask myself, Val, is this life real? See the piano and I feel nothing but me and some keys. Nothing but me and some keys.
So here in the piano part, we lose the triplet notes and they just become block chords. Also, Val says some keys instead of the keys. So both of these things indicate Val's loss of interest in music.
Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, Brahms, Chopin. Once you were magic, but now you're nothing but notes on a page. Nothing but notes on a page.
2 comments on this section. One, I wanted Val to say names of specific composers because I feel like their relationship with music was sort of like an intimate relationship with another person that sort of faded over time. And the other thing I wanted to say is I really appreciate the versatility of the nothing but, etc. lyric. For example, in the first half of this section, we see the nothing but used as a positive thing, where nothing but me and the keys indicates Val's immersion in their music. But then later, it becomes a negative thing where nothing but notes on a page is dismissive.
Silent night, first Noel, deck the halls, jingle bells used to have meaning to me. Now that the passion's gone, why should I carry on? Give me a reason to be.
So you might notice that this part sounds a little dissonant. That's because the note for reason to be is not in the chord in the underlying piano part, and I feel like this really just highlights the dissonance going on in Val's own head.
Tell me why I live and die inside this trite catastrophe. What to know and where to go, please show me your mind.
Shout out to Beethoven for writing such a banger. I had to include some classical music references because, Val is a classical musician, though I did reharmonize the second half of this little bit to include the descending bass line that we heard in the intro to the song.
am dead, good and dead, on the cold hard ground.
Second shout out to Beethoven for this other banger. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep it in the original key and I had to transpose it to fit in with the rest of the thing, but yes, Beethoven is great.
Someone, somewhere or something, I'm asking, I'm begging, I'm pleading, I'm dying. Give me a reason to be. Give me a reason to be.
So if you're very attentive, you'll notice that the harmony for this melody at the end is different from how it was before, and that's just because I wanted to give it a really definitive ending, so I made it a 5-7-1 progression. So that was my first behind the song, and I hope you got something out of it. See you next time.